15 till.
All right. Good morning. I just sent Justin yet another link. This one is on marblism.com.
Marblism.com. Let's find out where I put my browser here. Here we go. Prompt to app in minutes. Boy, we're seeing a ton of these nowadays, aren't we? Your app as solid as marble. That's a weird. That's weird, but okay.
Rock solid, buddy. It's rock solid.
I guess so. All right. Yep. 100 marbles. All the marbles.
All the marbles.
Interesting.
Go ahead. Click one. I mean, you can see the
Oh,
video if you want to see the video real quick, right?
yeah, let's look at this video here.
Guys, we did it. You can generate software from a single prompt. And I'm not talking about, to-do list apps or snake games. I'm talking about real app you can go to market with. Super excited to introduce you all to Marblism.
Speed that shit up.
Right now,
That's
on our
exactly
site,
what I'm doing.
A full sharing marketplace like Airbnb. And we're going to
okay.
Days and do the process together. So let's call it SwimDNB. It's going to be
SwimDNB. All right, that's pretty good.
Next. Now it's generating all the tables in my application. We're just going to accept everything. It looks pretty good. We have the reviews, the pools, the bookings. Click next. And now it's going to generate all the pages in my application. So same thing. We're going to click next. We just want to see our app live. We can go to your app. It's deployed on the cloud, so you get a preview with a test account. So I can sign now. And this is it. This is our app. So yeah, let's see if it works. We're going to try to do the pool. Yeah, we can see a map.
Pretty
good, like pretty good results.
Justin!
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I knew you would.
Cool. Okay, this one looks good. Okay, and yeah, grateful, very clean. That's what we want for tool. Big book, and we're going to input a date and a time. And so basically, we generate mock data as well. So that's why you have already a lot of different pools and a lot of different bookings in your app on the first launch. So we can see here booking works, and let's try to list the pool now. So it's going to be the best rooftop pool in New York. And the description is going to be one of the best pools you will ever see in your life. The address is going to be in New York City, and the price per hour is going to be $350. It's going to be a nice pool.
Okay. $350 an hour pool. All right.
Well, in New York City, rooftop.
Pool.
Yeah, if you're doing a party, that actually seems reasonable.
I really want to show you guys that you can iterate on your app as well on the fly. So for example, I can ask the AI to add a review button.
Add a button.
For the review on the pool. You click next, and here we are.
Oh my God! Oh shit!
Button works, and the rating here, and implements, great pool. Submit review, and here we are. I really hope you enjoy watching the video, and I can't wait to see what you're going to build with Marblism. So follow us on X, and yeah, send us your best apps. See you guys. Thank you.
Okay, really interesting. I really want to play with this now.
So go ahead, look at the pricing real quick.
I saw it was based on. Do you want some of the marbles or all the marbles?
Here's the thing. I have no problem, buying you a couple beers if you want to go to the mid pack right away and just and kick it off.
Well, let's see. I think because it looks like it's volume based, it doesn't look like there's a difference in quality. We can start with the low pack and let's see, because it says 5 iterations.
All right. So should we actually make this as part of our other idea that we were working on and see if we can generate the app?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So then we will not be publishing this video.
Well, or we can do something else because this is too cool. I want to publish this. So let's make something else. Let's make something dumb. Let's do
well, actually, let's do how
about this? What if we make an app that allows you to put in one prompt and run it against 3 different AI models and see the results in 3 different columns, so you can A/B test AI responses.
Okay, I was say you could do that, or we could do the idea of what the hell, the government one that we were trying to do with Gemini.
Government one.
The one where we help people do grants.
Oh, right.
Because that's just a fun one to see if we can.
Yeah. How would we describe that?
Grant automation software.
Okay, so this is SaaS.
Yep.
This is an app that helps you write grant applications. It takes in
All of your company data.
all of your company data.
PDFs. Just put
You
PDFs.
can log in via LinkedIn and connect your company. Think it can manage that.
No, I like this. And then it loads all your company it loads all your company information into Gemini. And you tell it which grant.
You upload like the PDF of the grant.
Yeah, you upload the grant, and it immediately
It
completes.
Yeah, builds an app, builds a response.
It builds a response.
A response that you can copy paste into Google Docs.
Oh no!
All right.
Well, why would you copy paste in Google Docs and it creates
Oh.
a Google Doc?
Oh, that creates and it creates a Google Doc.
And check this out. It creates a Google Doc with the grant, comma, a Google slide. This is called slides. What are they called?
Slides.
A Google slide presentation.
Yep.
And comma, and a sheet and a Google sheet for any pricing.
I mean, this is so vague and complex. I think this is probably going to be like over the top difficult for this thing to do.
And I want it to be over the top. Dark mode, freaking designers.
Always dark mode. This will use 50 marbles. Okay. Roll the marbles. All right, let's see what happens here. Analyze the requirements. So they're going to feed this into an LLM. The LLM's going to look at this and go, what is this person trying to build?
I mean, if this works well, you know that we have to you have to take a week off of work and we just hole up and build and launch it, right?
Yeah, well, here's a thing that I'm going to say about this and I think that people need to hear this really loud and clear. Okay, hang on. AI suggestion. So this app assists. So we got the project description. It rewrote the project description for us. This is like having it rewrite the prompt, which is interesting. So it basically created some user stories. As a user, I can do this. As a user, AI feedback. Interesting. Remove LinkedIn login feature. Marlo's cannot generate. It can't do the API integration. So it suggested a different way to build a product.
Well done.
I think that's great, right? Because it's kind of stripping it back down to MVP and saying you don't need these integrations. Let's do it a different way and still get you to the value. So
well done.
Okay.
Well done. I'm already impressed.
I am actually already impressed. I am too. Okay, so this is going to generate a database schema. But so while it's doing that, let me get back to what I was saying, which is that I hear a lot of developers and engineers, and y'all, I am one of them. I am a developer. I am an engineer. I've been doing this for 20 years. I write a lot of code. I'm not naive about this. Who are very anti-AI. And what I hear a lot about things like this and about AI's ability to write code and generate components and things like that is, yeah, it can do it, but it's not stable, it's not scalable, it's not secure. If you want really good code, you really need to have a person write it. So the problem with that, what?
Hey, as a developer, how do you feel about WordPress code?
Well, most developers hate it.
Okay. How much of the web does it have again?
Right, almost
43% of
almost half
all
of it.
websites
Exactly.
on
So,
the planet.
Yes. So my point about this is that this is making the wrong argument, because it makes the argument. This is literally, and I've said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it again because I lived through this and experienced it, and we're going through the same thing again. And I'm telling you, it is exactly the same. This sounds exactly like 1999, 1998, 2000, 2001, when digital music will never go anywhere. And the record industry fought tooth and nail for years, 6 or 7 years. They said this will never work. We're going to pass things like DCMA. We're going to pass all of these things that make it impossible for digital music to actually work and actually be a thing. CDs and mechanicals are going to be the way forever. Guess what, guys? Did not happen. This is like trying to stand in a beach and stop a wave with your hands. You look like a fucking idiot. Like,
right.
So anyway, I want you to know,
Well, also,
this is the stuff that will eat your job. And if you don't realize that, and if you're putting your head in the sand, like, I just don't have any sympathy for people whose job this replaces if they think that this won't.
let me go ahead and say this. The vast majority of people worry about premature optimization. The vast majority of apps could all live on a small single server and never do anything anywhere.
Yep.
First of all, so far, we'll see how this goes, but I'm not hating the fact that it generates an actual, database model.
I'm not hating it either, because I think that, like, one of the things that it's doing here that I think is really important is that when you build a product, getting the data model correct is really, really important. Because really, if you get the data model correct, honestly, a lot of the app builds itself. And what they're doing here is they're using that theory, saying, let's figure out the data model, because the views all just express the data model. And so that's what we're going to see. So you can see here, they've created 6 different tables: a user table, notification table, company, grant application, document, pricing, information. Interesting. So let's go ahead and hit next. This is now going to generate the pages based on that model. And yeah, I think that this kind of stuff is very early on. We're still in the GeoCities era of this kind of development. And there's a lot of toys. What's that?
I love the analogy, though, because you know what GeoCities did? It created a generation of developers, and designers.
Yeah. 12 pages have been generated. A login page, a register page, reset password. I don't know what these locks are. Oh, set by default and cannot be modified. Interesting. Profile page, company data, upload grant applications, grant application detail, generate document, generate presentation, pricing spreadsheet. And you can add other pages if you want to. Interesting.
All right.
Let's just hit next and let's see what happens. This may take up to 5 minutes. So,
well, first of all, it said 2 minutes and it was done in like 30 seconds. So,
right. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think we're in that very early. This is 1996, 7, 8 territory. If any of you guys were like us, alive and banging and trying to start figuring out how we're gonna make things on the web back then.
Wait, just now I'm curious. 96. What year did you graduate high school?
99.
All right, so you're only a little bit older than I am. 2000,
yes.
Baby.
Okay. Yeah. So
I was like, wait a minute. Did you graduate high school in 96?
No. But I was building stuff. I mean, I remember coming home from high school and sitting in my bedroom building GeoCities websites and making stuff with, I don't even know if front page was a thing at that. I think it was. I think front page was a thing at that point. And see, so I did use some Microsoft stuff. I mean, that was back in the day. Why are you giving me a thumbs down? Because I said the word Microsoft? I didn't even like do a gesture. But that's where I think that's where we are. And I say this all the time. And I am blown away by the number of people, another number of technical people that I talk to. You're trying so hard.
It doesn't work. Sorry.
I don't do it.
Oh, you bastard.
You got to be in the studio with the rock and roll power here to funnel that one. But it's amazing to me how many people that I hear, developers, technical people who I consider very smart and I consider very well educated in this who walk around with their fingers in their ears. It is insane to me,
Well,
actually.
again, we should be happy because we have 2 years to take advantage of this situation.
Yeah.
And more people with their head in the sand, the better the chance that we're going to be
Less competition. That's right. That's right. But y'all do not wake up in a few years when your businesses, when your custom development shop that you have, your like little freelance web design thing, and you just aren't getting customers anymore. Don't wake up and be like, what happened?
Well,
We're literally telling you what's going to happen.
Side note, this is really interesting. So a lot of people presumed that Amazon and Kindle would reduce the number of paperback books that are sold.
Mhm.
Do you know what happened?
Increased it because it increased the interest in reading.
It did.
Interesting.
It
right?
actually, yeah. So there are more physical books being sold as well as other books. And a lot was said about websites and design as well. Like, oh, well, they're getting so good that we won't need web designers. It's like, no. Now the base is good, so random people can have decent websites, but the people who want to stand out actually have to invest even more into design.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. But I will bet you there are total. I don't know. We need to at some point find some of the job and industry size stats for the tech industry at large and look at the trends, because my philosophy, and this is a relatively maybe pessimistic outlook if you look at it. I think the technology industry is going to shrink in terms of manpower over the next decade. I think it's going to shrink. I guess I should say certain parts of it are going to shrink. But there are not as many web designers today as there were 10 years ago, I bet. That may not be true. That's actually probably bad.
I think the problem is you say web designers, you're automatically ruling out. You're automatically ruling out iOS and Android, Windows,
the platforms
and Mac OS, and Linux, and
yeah, they're probably it's interesting to see. I think that this shift is so different than other shifts that we've had in the past that I think it's very difficult to find an accurate analog.
Oh, 100% agree. I'm just picking on you there because it's the definition of web designer versus just
correct.
Designer.
No, it's very true, right? Like even the definitions are very hard to pin down, and so it's very hard to kind of get your head around.
Think about advertising, right? Like the quality of ad designs over the last 5 years.
Yep.
They've all shot through the roof, right?
Oh yeah.
And a lot of it has shifted from image to video. So are they the same skill sets? No, but are they transferable skill sets? Yes. And by the way, I'm just as pessimistic about as you are, right? About the end of society as we know it.
I think it's gonna. None of us know how this is gonna turn out, right? None of us know what this is gonna look like in 5 years. I mean, we don't know that about anything in the world, right? We can make some kind of assumptions here and there, but I just think that the healthiest attitude right now about this is not one of, because what I hear is like the same. I hear like another verse of the same song that I heard played in 1994 when people were like, "Oh, this internet thing, this will be a nice little toy that won't really do anything. Oh, this digital music thing, this will be a nice little toy that won't do anything. Oh, these mobile apps, these will be nice little toys that won't do anything." I've heard the same verse sung many, many times, and this is yet another verse that rhymes with those in the same song. And look at how all of those turned out. And there's just too many people for my level of comfort working in this industry who are going, meh. And I think it's such a naive point of view.
For those of you who are not familiar, Paul Graham, one of the greats, so to speak, wrote a fantastic article in November of 2012 and how to get startup ideas. And one of the things he talks about a lot in there is toys. So I think Justin is subconsciously pulling that up. I was like, oh man, I know this. When he said toy, I'm like, I'm looking it up, Google it on the side. And he's like, a lot of the things that turn out to be great are dismissed as toys in the beginning.
Ding. 100%. You should build toys.
So let me just quote from that, since we have another 2 minutes until this
We
thing is
have
deployed.
like 38% time
Just
left.
as trying to think up startup ideas tends to produce bad ones, working on things that could be dismissed as toys often produces good ones. When something is described as a toy, that means it has everything an idea needs except being important. It's cool, users love it, it just doesn't matter. But if you're living in the future and you build something cool that users love, it may matter more than outsiders think. Microcomputers seemed like toys when Apple and Microsoft started working on them. I'm old enough to remember that era. Sorry, Paul. The usual term for people with their own microcomputers back then was hobbyists. Backrub seemed like an inconsequential science project. The Facebook was just a way for undergrads to start stalking one another. At YC, Y Combinator, we're excited when we meet startups working on things that we could imagine know-it-alls on forums dismissing as toys. To us, that's positive evidence that an idea is good. If you can afford to take a longer view, and arguably you can't afford not to, you can turn live in the future and build what's missing into something even better. Live in the future and build what seems interesting.
I love it. I love it. And I think more people should build toys.
And generally, I agree. And also, if you want fantastic essays, Paul Graham's essays are masterworks.
Bar none. And it's honestly, one thing I think about Paul Graham, and I'm a real big Paul Graham fanboy, and a real big YC fanboy. But one of the things that always strikes me about Paul Graham is how clear his writing is. I think he's one of the best writers in the world. He is so good at communicating in a very plain, down-to-earth way. It's really enviable, actually. So we are at 100%, and we are
should be launching
about
any
to
second
see this thing that we have deployed, our grant writer app. And we're going to see what happens. Maybe, if it deploys.
While while he's doing that, do you remember the article that Paul Graham wrote about Lisp? And obviously wrote a lot of them since he loves Lisp. But
I mean, he wrote books about Lisp. Lisp.
But the one in particular about that not all languages are equal.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, so he actually goes counter to what you and I speak to some degree, and we talk about how the language doesn't matter, right?
Yep.
He actually says the language does matter.
When did he write that article?
It doesn't matter because the concept is actually really, really relevant. And he goes, if you think the language doesn't matter, why did you upgrade from version 3 to version 4? Because it added new features. Well, clearly, the adding of new features was worth something to you because you upgraded from version 3 of the language to version 4 of the language, and you felt and you became more productive. Sure. So clearly, the language does matter. And his argument was that with Lisp, you can build all of the features that you need for yourself in a way that you can't do in other languages that don't have the meta programming in the macros the way that Lisp does. And he I don't remember, and unfortunately I don't remember which article it was, and he has a lot of articles. But the concept is it was very, very true. And he talks a lot about how that allowed them to be successful, right? And the reason they were able to sell their company to Yahoo was because of it. All right, so the session ends in 35 minutes, basically. All right, let's log in. And I love this.
Look at this. Sure. I mean, here's our little app that we have. We can upload a grant. Man, I need like
A grant.
a grant. Can you find a grant and pass it to me?
Grants.
Oh, so down here is where you can modify the app.
Guys, this is amazing.
Huh. Oh, there's my profile. It's a little slow, but that's fine. Again, all things that will be fixed.
You know what? I'm an idiot. We should have been trying to find a grant while that was doing it.
We probably should have been. Yeah. I forgot how our app worked.
Um, oh shit.
So we're going to upload this grant application. We're going to see what happens. I'm curious to see if it is going to actually do any open AI stuff. I doubt it because they're not going to build an app. I mean, one thing that I'm curious about is like, where would my OpenAI key go? Right? Like, how do there's like, I have a lot of questions obviously about how this is going to work.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to actually find one with the document now.
Oh, file type PDF. Somebody told me that was a trick you could use in Google search.
I mean, all right. So it's on grants.gov. So let's try that. Google.
And the reason why we did this one, we were talking about this the other day, is this is a really common task, writing grants. And I mean, there are whole companies that are just grant writers, right? And one thing that's interesting about the grant space is that it's a pretty highly understood space. There's lots of examples of like good grants versus bad grants. There's lots of stuff that you can use to train an interstitial model or to use as RAG in order to tune a model to do this task really well. And it represents something that is probably a tens or hundreds of millions of dollar industry annually that you could almost drop AI into and probably do 90% of it.
All right.
Like off the rip.
That's
why this is an interesting one.
I downloaded the first PDF, right? So I don't know if it's accurate by any stretch, but that's the first PDF I found on
just fine.
Which, by the way, there are 1,600. So
so this is our PDF here. So we're going to upload. I haven't even looked at this PDF. I don't know what's in it. We're going to see if the upload works. Actually,
I don't see it doing anything.
Does not seem to work.
What are those two little right icons on the far right?
Documentation and support. That is for the platforms. Oh, uploaded successfully. Okay. It did. It just didn't have a progress report. That's fine. Oh, it did it twice. Fine. Okay, so and I can view the PDF. I mean, look at this. This is like, so if I view the PDF, it's just gonna load it. So here's our PDF. So then what is this?
It created a bunch of fake ones. Wait, no, you already have that one.
Oh, I already did.
Right
Oh,
there.
yeah, my bad. Here, generate document.
Click on one of the other ones. Yeah. Go to grant applications real quick. Wait, there. Yeah, now click on Green Energy Solutions 2023.
Let's see what happens with this.
It just gave you a fake image because it was just a fake.
Okay. Document download successful. I mean, it's not, but okay. Fine. So we gave it a relatively complex task.
Yep.
But honestly, the bones are here. Right?
Well, and we ran out of marbles, but theoretically we would just be now improving page by page by page.
Right. And
by
we'll just go
continuing
through
to
and
talk
just,
to it.
Yep. And that's the way I think that software development happens in the future.
Guys,
I think that the way you're just coaching an AI programmer to build your thing for you.
Marblism, good work.
Kind of cool.
Kind of cool. I would say you guys have done a really good job stepping it through the process like that.
Yep.
And yeah, it's really hard to actually find too much fault with that.
Yeah, I think it's a great start. I mean, I don't love the marble puns and all that, but they'll work all of that out. They'll get somebody in that actually knows how to position and think about a product. And but I think like what they have built is a pretty impressive thing.
Yeah. I'm really impressed.
I think again we see these kind of things being built all over the place, and they're all early on. GeoCities era, guys. Think about it. Like you have to take this stuff seriously. You can't dismiss this as like, oh, it didn't do it perfectly, but a developer could. It just built something that would have taken a developer 3 days to build, and it did it in like 15 minutes. Like, y'all, it's not going to be long before people go, oh, this is obviously better. Like, get your head out of the sand. It's coming for you.
Yeah, I'm super impressed. All right. Thank you and have a nice day.
See you guys.